Nothing compares to a chocolate cake made with really good quality chocolate. So Thomas, my dear friend from Lindt, is here to show us his version of a chocolate cake. The best thing about this one is it's also gluten-free, so it's a win-win all round.
Absolutely. I think everybody needs a go-to chocolate cake, and I think this would be your new go-to chocolate cake.
And the way to my heart is to add nuts with chocolate. I just love that combination. And you've got lots of nuts here too.
And this is really uncomplicated. So it's actually using the chocolate in grated form to actually flavour the chocolate. And what I've done here, we actually use two different chocolates. They're both 70%, but one is a smooth blend, 70% cocoa.
Right, so what's the difference? What makes it so smooth?
Basically, we use a different type of cocoa bean to actually make the chocolate, but also roast the chocolate, the cocoa beans a little bit less so that it's not as intense, not as strong. So it's really just kind of a nice and balanced. Just have a little try and tell me what you think. So basically, I just mix it up with two of those chocolates, but you can easily just use a straight 70% or, of course, this one. But this is so nice and aromatic. The vanilla comes through, just delicious. So 85 grams of each of those chocolates and just finely grated. You could even put it into a kitchen machine to whiz it up, but just finely grated, I think, is perfect.
Right,
in the meantime, I'll get with the rest of the cake mix, which is basically just butter and sugar that are creamed together, and then add the egg yolks to it. I just separated 5 eggs.
And we have whisked our eggs here, so they're at soft peak, not stiff peaks, with a little sugar.
It's important because basically the meringue will help us to give elevation of the cake as well. So if it's over whisk as well, so it doesn't tend to get as much elevation. So just soft peaks, perfect. A little bit of vanilla bean paste in here as well. And I put half of the sugar in here to cream with the butter, and the other half went into the meringue. And again, this needs to be really nice and light and creamy, just because, again, this will actually help our cake to have that beautiful open texture. So as it starts to go nice and light, we can start to introduce the egg yolks. So just one by one, and we just sort of mix it well after each. Doing a great job grating there.
I do really love grating like this because it's just done so neatly.
And the chocolate is so nice and fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we set this aside and we're getting on to our dry ingredients.
Okay.
So what I have here is almond meal, and I actually roasted this, and that really brings out the flavour of the actual nut. So it really makes a difference. The cake works if you don't toast it, but it makes an absolute world of difference with the hazelnuts as well.
Oh, hazelnut. I love hazelnut meal.
So these go in, and then we actually put the rest of the dry ingredients in. So I'm actually using potato starch for this. The main reason for this, it's gluten-free, so it's nice and easy, but it also binds more than what, for example, a corn flour would do. Baking powder to sort of help it elevate it a little bit. A bit more cocoa powder. And use a good quality cocoa powder. And again, that actually helps the cake bind as well. And then I'm ready for your beautifully grated S11 chocolate as well.
Okay. And then in it goes.
Beautiful. Look at that. Mix all our dry ingredients together. And then we start to bring it all together. So I might get you, we sort of do it in thirds. I like to do a little bit of the dry ingredients first, and then a little bit of the meringue, and so on. And the last needs to be the meringue. So
all right.
we sort of want to keep as much of the air in as possible.
All right, let's get mixing.
Maybe a third of the dry ingredients straight in. A little bit of the meringue, just a third of the egg whites. Look at that, beautiful, glossy. So you don't have to be too precious with this. We need to mix it in. More dry ingredients. Oh, look at that, that looks so nice. With the last lot, we just need to be a little bit more gentle, a little bit more careful, because we want to keep as much of the air that we have in the meringue in here. But they're looking good.
And we've got a round springform tin. We've put some baking paper on the bottom and then a collar around to make it much easier to take out later on.
Oh, thank you.
And then cake goes in.
Lots of cake mix. I'll show you a little trick as well to sort of help it make it a flat top on top of the cake. I like to have a little bit of a dip in the middle and a little bit higher on the side, because the cake always rises from the centre.
Yes.
So if you have it a little bit higher on the side, you actually get closer to having a straight cake once it's out of the oven.
And we've preheated our oven to 170 degrees. How long is this going to cook for?
Probably about 45 minutes.
Fantastic. cake has come out of the oven, and you're right, see how it's nice and flat.
Beautiful.
It hasn't formed that little dome on the top.
Glad when a trick works.
Yes, we've cooled that down.
Okay, so just then gently take off the collar, like that. And then the easiest way, I actually like to flip it upside down so you get the flat side on top. So straight on top with the cake platter and flip it. And just gently take all of these off.
Beautiful.
There we go.
There's our cake.
Let's just sort of decorate it with a little bit of icing sugar. That's sort of like a traditional way of finishing a torta caprese, which, by the way, comes from the island of Capri in Italy, where they sort of served it for all the tourists. So, and just because it's me,
No icing, but lots of grated chocolate.
put a little bit more chocolate on there. Now, would you like to try a little bit of this?
I would love to, Thomas.
Excellent. Let me take a little piece out.
I can smell the hazelnuts and the almonds and the chocolate, of course.
And this is really one of those cakes that actually stays moist, like a couple of days, no problem.
In my household, that would not last a couple of hours.
There we go.
Oh, looks
Place
good.
that on here. It's a nice open texture. And then we just put a little bit of cream.
Okay.
I actually got cream and a bit of Greek yogurt, sort of half-half whipped together. So it's just nice and refreshing.
Little taste. Oh, I like that centre bit right there. Oh, so soft. And a bit of that cream and yogurt.
But you can smell that rich chocolate with all those roasted nuts. Just delicious. I told you it's your new go-to chocolate cake.
It's so my go-to chocolate cake. You'll find me just in that corner over there eating this glorious cake. Thank you.
Enjoy.